Well, that was a look there at how the markets are performing. But to unpack the rest of how it is certainly going, Viv Govender from Rand Swiss joining us in studio as well. Viv, thank you so much for the time. I think let's start off very quickly as well with my colleague Nzinga's interview there with Christo Visa. He seems vehemently adamant that things aren't the way they are. They certainly seem to be purported and reported out in the newspapers as well. Do you think he stands to lose everything out of this? Is there a recovery for him in terms of the long standing of the deal?
Look, I don't think he gets back to where he was before. But then again, I think for 99.99% of the population of South Africa, basically, Christo Visa's broke is where you want to be eventually in your life, or hope to what you achieve.
Yeah.
So he's never going to be broke like a normal person gets broke. He gets broke like a billionaire, a former dollar billionaire is once broke.
But credibility is gone, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's impossible that he's going to basically make a career as lustrous as his own career looked until the end of last year ever again. He's too old for that. He's, of course, damaged reputation and so on is quite substantial. But, I mean, he's accumulated quite a lot of assets. And even though the overall value has come down significantly, in these cases, you hardly ever find somebody in that position. I think the few exceptions include people like Batista in Brazil, where he's been sentenced to a 30-year jail sentence. But unless something like that happens, I don't think he's got the really broke level happening, but he's not going to be recovering to where he was before as by far and away the richest man in the country.
Yeah. At the same time, if we go into local equity news, Anglo-American and Anglo-Platinum and their entire group really revising down their expectations for output, but Platinum not so much so, seeing an uptick there.
Yeah, the thing with Platinum is at the moment is that the industry itself is in a bit of a quandary. We are the world's largest platinum producer. We are there's only about 3 of us out in the world. There's us, Zimbabwe, and Russia. Unfortunately, one of the biggest demanders for platinum is catalytic converters, and a couple of things have happened. Firstly, those catalytic converters work best with diesel engines for platinum, and diesel engine use has come down substantially because of the VW issue and other issues around diesel that makes it less attractive than it was a few years ago.
Sure.
And the second issue is that technology improves, and now an old car that's recycled, and to take that same platinum from that car, make a new platinum catalytic converter, you can make more than one effectively. So every old car that's recycled provides more than one new car's worth of platinum, and that's also hurting demand for the commodity.
Are we seeing a revival of Anglo in some way? I mean, they created that venture fund not so long ago, and now they're looking to, yes, fine, other entities, including Kumba Iron Ore, are seeing a few issues with productions and sales, but it seems that they're trying to invigorate themselves and continue to find growth in the local market. Is that really the case? Can they find what's left in South Africa's economy?
Yeah, look, the thing with Anglo and all the big commodity producers out there is that they are to a certain extent at the mercy of the prices of their commodity. I mean, you can imagine a car company and one day the price is, say, 100,000 rands per car. The next day, a couple of months later, it's up at, say, 500,000 rands per car. In one situation, it looks like they're a horrible company and they're losing money. Another situation looks like they're massively profitable and then a great company like Kumba was when iron ore was significantly higher, or looked quite badly when iron ore was significantly lower. These companies are to a large extent at the mercy of their commodity prices, and commodity prices to a certain extent recovered from the lows of a few years ago, and that's why all these companies look a lot better than they did a few years ago. I mean, Anglo's recovered significantly.
Still in mining, gold companies themselves, only 20% of them seem to be profitable. That's a big issue.
Oh yeah, most certainly. I mean, the problem in this country is that we've mined gold and some other commodities for far too long, and it's become much too difficult to actually get the commodity out of the ground at current prices. Again, if gold was at $8,000 an ounce, then it doesn't make an issue. The story. And so when commodities come into the picture, it's almost a case of a gamble because we don't control that. If we did control, like OPEC has some power over its commodity, and that's why they're able to do certain things, longer term planning. And that's why, in fact, if we notice it, which is the one commodity producing group of countries that actually is rich? There's no rich gold producing countries. There's no gold shakes out on.
Are you saying we should be creating a gold production cartel?
Well, not for gold. Gold is difficult because gold isn't used up. All the gold that's mined is virtually still around. But for things like manganese, for copper, for iron ore, for those kind of things, there is absolutely no reason South Africa and a couple other southern hemisphere countries. I include places like Russia in the southern hemisphere approach. But a couple other of the commodity exporting countries couldn't get together and really have a great deal more control over the price of the commodity. Iron ore prices fluctuate dramatically, far more than oil prices have, and that's because we don't have as much control.
That's going to be an interesting one. I wonder if Gwede Mantashe is actually heeding your advice and thoughts right now. At the same time, let's talk Rand. It's at 13.45 now. But it did go all the way down to around 13, 19. At some point, we had it just before 14 rand to the US dollar. Does the South African Reserve Bank know where that's going to sit? Are they going to sit on their hands later this afternoon? We'll chat about the MPC as well a little bit later on. But what do you see them doing?
If there's someone in the South African Reserve Bank knew where that's going to go, that person should just quit his job and become a billionaire in trading Forex. Literally, I mean, from last week till this week, we had such a massive move in the price of the currency that, I mean, if you were a currency trader, you could have made millions, hundreds of millions if you were picking it correctly. And therefore, because I'm not working hundreds of millions at the moment, then, you know, I didn't pick it correctly. But that being said, look, I mean, we've seen things like the Big Mac Index come out just a couple of days ago, talking about the fact that we massively undervalued in terms of the currency. Look, the trend is going to be weaker. Our inflation rate is higher than the inflation rate of the trading partners we're talking about. And therefore, over time, our currency should weaken. We've got, however, a big, basically, discount in terms of the valuation of our currency because of the uncertainty in the economy. Cyril Ramaphosa, when he was elected, took some of that away, and that's why we saw the mid-11s. Okay. More recently, we haven't seen the kind of improvement we should be seeing in the economy that makes people more confident, and therefore would have gotten us back to like the 12s or the 11s. And therefore, the market is drifting towards this 13, 14 rand level. Also, another factor in this is that even though the US and China and the big countries are fighting about trade wars and so on, unfortunately, South Africa, being so open, is very vulnerable to this uncertainty. And that's something that's affecting us. I mean, whenever Trump is talking about something crazy or whenever trade war issues come into play, we find our currency is also weakening along with places that we really are not connected with.
Viv Govender from Rand Swiss, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We'll unpack the MPC as well a little bit later. The Reserve Bank expected to keep interest rates unchanged a little bit later on as that press conference starts at around 3 p.m. But does it actually stay there? Or does it go any further? We will unpack that with Viv Govender and Jason Muscat as well from FNB. That is a look at your markets for now. Nompumelelo and Nzinga will be chatting to us right after this.
Hi Craig, it's Nampu, can you hear me? Hi, okay, talk again please Craig. Can you hear me? Can you hear me well?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, all right, super, I can hear you very nicely. How do I say your surname?
McEwen.
Okay, thank you.